Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events shaping our world. I'm your host, Walter. Today, we're looking at a couple of stories that have been making headlines recently. First up, we have a story out of Canada regarding Alberta's potential separation from the rest of the country. The article discusses the implications of such a move and the various factors at play. It's a complex issue with many different perspectives, and we'll be exploring some of those viewpoints in more detail later on in the show. In other news, a Turkish business leader has found himself at the center of controversy after making a joke that was widely criticized as racist and sexist. Rami Koch, the 95-year-old honorary chairman of Turkey's largest conglomerate, Koch Holding, apologized for his remarks, which were made during the opening of one of the company's hospitals in Izmir. The incident has sparked widespread outrage and has even prompted an investigation by a regional prosecutor's office. It's interesting to note that this controversy comes at a time when the Turkish government is negotiating a peace process with the Kurds. The ruling AK party has spoken out against Koch's remarks, saying they run counter to the country's values and are deeply wrong and offensive. We'll be taking a closer look at both of these stories and more throughout today's episode. We'll examine the potential consequences of Alberta's separation from Canada and delve deeper into the fallout from Rami Koch's comments in Turkey. Our goal is to provide you with a balanced and nuanced view of these complex issues so you can form your own opinions. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're glad you're still with us as we dive into our middle segment. Today, we're shifting our focus to the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Reports are emerging that hundreds of Ukrainian drones have been downed by Russian forces across various regions, including the Moscow region, Crimea, and several southern provinces. According to officials, nearly 90 drones were intercepted overnight, with some targeting areas near the Ukrainian border. The attacks resulted in casualties, including a woman who died in the Kursk region after receiving shrapnel wounds while milking a cow. Emergency services also responded to drones that crashed while approaching Moscow. It's essential to acknowledge the complexities of this conflict and the various perspectives involved. Both Ukraine and Russia have been engaged in a prolonged struggle, with each side experiencing losses and facing international scrutiny. As the situation continues to unfold, it's crucial for us to remain informed and consider multiple sources when evaluating the events. The use of drones in warfare has become increasingly prevalent, raising questions about their role in modern conflict and the potential consequences for civilians. As we navigate these issues, it's vital to prioritize accuracy and avoid perpetuating misinformation. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we encourage our listeners to engage with reputable news sources and consider the diverse viewpoints surrounding this conflict. Welcome back to Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a look at a developing story in the Balkans. The tiny nation of Kosovo is heading to the polls for snap elections, and many are watching with bated breath to see what this means for the country's future path to EU integration. Kosovo has been embroiled in a political crisis since March, when Parliament failed to elect a new president after the alliance between then-President Vjosa Osmani and caretaker Prime Minister Albin Kurti broke down. The rift allegedly developed over differing views on how to approach relations with Brussels and Washington, with Osmani favoring a more collaborative approach and Kurti taking a more isolationist stance. The current ruling party, Vetëvendosje, is expected to win a significant portion of the vote, but may fall short of the two-thirds majority needed to elect a new president. This could lead to further political instability in the region, which has already been plagued by tensions over Kosovo's ethnic Serb minority. The EU has invested heavily in Kosovo's development, with over $3.7 billion in funding since 1999. However, many in Brussels are growing increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress on key issues such as normalization with Serbia and respect for minority rights. As voters head to the polls, they will be weighing their options carefully. Some may support Kurti's tough stance on Belgrade, while others may favor a more collaborative approach. Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear: Kosovo's future hangs in the balance, and the international community will be watching closely to see what happens next. The situation is complex, with many different perspectives and interests at play. It's essential to consider all sides of the issue and avoid taking a biased view. As we follow this story, we'll strive to provide balanced and accurate reporting, giving our listeners a deeper understanding of the challenges facing Kosovo and the wider region. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.